Waves of fate, asterisk, asterisk. I swear I'll never open my heart again. The words rolled off my tongue like a flavorless sugar pill, bitter and painful. My friends Mia and Kayla exchanged concerned glances. Mia inched closer, wrapping an arm around my shoulders. Come on, Grace. You know that's not true. Last year was different. I scoffed, pushing her away playfully. And why do you think I'm saying it now? Her flinch echoed my frustration. I don't want to go through the same heartbreak as before. I sighed, the memory of my past haunting me. Just last year, I had been over the moon in love, engaged to a brilliant woman named Sarah. But betrayal stung deeper than any physical blow when she brought her new fling to our apartment, leaving me with a broken heart and a police record to boot. They got their love and I got left behind nursing my wounds. Kayla shuddered at the thought, a witness to the aftermath of my explosive relationship with Sarah. I had loved her fiercely, like a moth drawn to a flame. It was my addiction, one I could never quite shake. But I had also lost myself in the chaos, enough to understand that it wasn't just Sarah's faults. I had played my part too. You'll heal. Trust me, Kayla smiled, but I could see the worry in her eyes. I grabbed my oversized hoodie, my go-to comfort wear. I think it's time for me to step out. I've lingered long enough. Mia chuckled softly. You could never overstay. I huffed, grabbing my bag and making my way out. The cool night air greeted me as I wandered down the familiar streets of coastal San Diego. Each step felt heavy, but I craved the solace of a drink. I found myself at my favorite bar, the Pearl Dive. I pushed through the door, a wave of warmth enveloping me as I spotted Jess, the bartender, who greeted me with a smirk. What's it tonight, Grace? The usual. I nodded, sinking onto a bar stool. Yeah, please. As she prepared my drink, I scanned the room. My mind drifted until a fresh breeze entered, carrying in a stunning newcomer. Her long hair shimmered, cascading like waves down her back. The dim lighting played tricks on my heart, illuminating her bright blue eyes. Jess called her name. Lila. The usual. My heart raced as I stole a glance, noting the playful smile that danced across her lips. I nearly choked on my drink when Jess winked at me and declared, "She's into girls too." My cheeks flushed as I coughed, waving her off. Jess, you might want to focus on your actual job." Lila chuckled, leaning against the bar next to me. "Well, that's good to know." Her voice was rich and smooth like honey. "I just moved here from Seattle." I introduced myself, curiosity sparking between us. "I came down for a change of pace," she explained, her enthusiasm contagious. The chemistry quickly blossomed as we swapped stories and laughter, sharing a few rounds of drinks. As we neared midnight, her laughter felt like a melody I didn't want to end. "So, what do you think about taking a little adventure after this?" Lila suggested, her eyes glimmering with mischief. My heart raced, but I hesitated. "I'm not sure that's a great idea, Lila. I'm still dealing with things." She tilted her head, productive silence hanging between us. "I understand," she replied softly. "But just know I'm patient." I felt a warmth spreading within me at her words. I brushed a thumb across her hand, feeling a connection I hadn't anticipated. "Let's keep in touch," I managed, leaning over to kiss her tenderly on the cheek as I took my leave. I walked into the cool night air, feeling that flicker of hope. For years later, the salty breeze danced around us as I sat on the beach, watching the waves crash against the shore. My heart was no longer shackled by the past, and standing before me was Lila, my true love. She lay her head on my lap, looking up at me with adoration. "Do you still love me, Grace?" she asked. My heart swelled and I smiled. "Always. That's why this gorgeous ring is on your finger." Lila laughed, feigning a dramatic gasp. "Please, you practically begged me to say yes." I tickled her side, laughter bubbling between us. Well, that's because I truly adore you, Lila Jensen. Her eyes sparkled like the stars above. And I love you, Grace Matthews, she replied with sincerity. In that moment, everything felt right. I had fallen in love. I had not intended to, but fate had a beautiful way of shifting life's tides. Sometimes love arrives without a warning, and that was perfectly okay. I vow never to slide away from our love, I murmured, kissing her forehead gently. Together we savored the moment as the waves crashed against the shore. A reminder that love sometimes finds you when you least expect it, and when it does, embrace it wholly. Continue the story. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. Lila and I remained in our cozy bubble of happiness. I ran my fingers through her hair, delighting in the texture and warmth, a tangible reminder of how far we had come since that night at the Pearl Dive. Remember the first time we met? Lila asked with a soft smile, her eyes twinkling like the stars that began to dot the night sky. You were so nervous you could hardly look at me. I chuckled, recalling how flustered I had felt. Yeah, well, you were absolutely mesmerizing. It didn't help that Jess practically outed me in front of you. Lila laughed, a sweet sound that danced around us like a gentle wave. Well, that worked out for the best. I think Jess knew we'd be perfect together from the start. I tilted my head back and gazed at the surf, reminiscing about our journey. Who would have thought that a simple comment would yield such a profound relationship? Here we are, engaged, planning a life together. Speaking of planning, Lila raised an eyebrow with a conspiratorial look in her eyes. Have you thought any more about where you want to honeymoon? The question sent a flutter of excitement through me. I was thinking something tropical. Maybe Thailand? Beaches, culture, food. What do you think? Lila's eyes widened with enthusiasm, and she nodded fervently. That sounds incredible. I've always wanted to see the islands. We spent the next hour planning our dream getaway, sharing our favorite activities and places we wanted to explore. The chemistry between us felt electric, each laugh and gentle touch an affirmation of the love we had forged together. After a while, our conversation shifted to more intimate subjects. Lila leaned close, her lips brushing against my ear as she whispered, "What's your biggest fear about our future?" The vulnerability in her voice made my heart ache. I turned to face her, the gravity of the moment sinking in. Honestly, my biggest fear is losing you, I admitted, the words finally escaping my lips. After everything I went through with Sarah, I just don't want to risk that kind of pain again. Her expression softened, and she placed a hand on my cheek. Grace, I promise you, I'm not going anywhere. We are different, and our love is stronger because we've both fought for it. I nodded, reassured by her sincerity. You're right. I just need to trust that what we have is real. With the sandy beach beneath us and the rhythmic sound of the waves, Lila leaned in and captured my lips with hers. The kiss was tender yet electric, igniting an inferno within me that I had thought was forever extinguished after my last heartbreak. As we pulled back, she whispered, "We'll navigate this journey together, the good and the bad. I want to build a future with you, Grace." Emotion surged through me as I buried my face in her shoulder. And I want that too. We sat there, wrapped in each other's warmth, the world around us fading into nothingness. Days turned into weeks, and the engagement bliss transformed into wedding planning chaos. With each detail we locked down, from colors and flowers to the cake and the guest list, I felt the reality of our commitment settle deeper into my bones. One evening, as we sat together sifting through potential venues, Lila's phone buzzed with a notification. As she read it, her expression shifted from excitement to confusion. "What is it?" I asked, noticing the furrow in her brow. "It's my mom," she replied, her voice wavering slightly. "She wants to meet with us for dinner." "Is that a good thing?" I asked, heart racing. I mean, considering we're planning to get married? Lila released a breath, a mix of anxiety and hope. I think so. She's starting to come around about us dating, but meeting us together? This is a big step. Then let's make it a great first impression. I replied with unfiltered enthusiasm. The night of the dinner arrived, and I could feel my heart pounding as we approached the restaurant where Lila's mother had chosen to meet us. I squeezed Lila's hand in reassurance. Just remember, this is our love, I whispered. No one can take that away from us. She smiled knowingly, her confidence buoying mine. Together we entered the restaurant, ready to face whatever challenges awaited us. Over the course of that dinner, I discovered Lila's mother was warm but cautious. As we all shared laughter and stories, it became apparent that her apprehension stemmed from wanting the best for her daughter. By the end of the evening, we found ourselves making plans to meet again. And in that moment, I could see the walls beginning to break down. As we walked back to the car, I turned to Lila. I think that went really well. She beamed, her happiness infectious. It did. I can't believe she's starting to accept us. The warmth of that moment wrapped around us as we drove home. We were not just planning a wedding. We were planning a future filled with hope, love, and resilience. A future that was vivid and alive, much like our love. Lila turned to me, the glow of streetlights highlighting her perfect smile. Whatever comes our way, we'll face it together, won't we? Forever and always, I replied, assured that our love would weather any storm. The journey ahead was filled with promise, and I knew we'd embrace every moment of it with open hearts. As the weeks passed, Lila and I seamlessly fell into a rhythm of wedding planning and building our future together. We spent lazy Sundays at the beach, vibrant evenings dancing in our living room, and countless nights cuddled up while binge-watching our favorite shows. Each moment reaffirmed just how intertwined our lives had become. One evening, while we were both sprawled on the sofa, Lila suddenly turned to me, her expression serious yet warm. You know, I've been thinking about the wedding. Beyond the venue, the dress, and the cake. I raised an eyebrow playfully. Oh? Is there something about my killer dance moves you want to discuss? She chuckled, shaking her head.
No.
I want our ceremony to reflect who we truly are. I want it to be as much about our journey as a couple as it is about starting a new chapter. I nodded, feeling a swell of pride. Absolutely. We should make it personal. Something that speaks to the love we've built and the hurdles we've overcome. Lila took my hands in hers, her grip firm and reassuring. I was thinking maybe we could write our own vows. Something heartfelt. I felt a rush of emotion. The thought of articulating our unique bond in front of our loved ones made my heart flutter. I love that idea. It'll make the day even more special. We spent the next few weeks brainstorming ideas, recalling the pivotal moments of our relationship and the lessons we had learned along the way. The process of writing our vows brought us even closer, forcing us to confront our deepest feelings and commitments. Finally, the day of our wedding arrived, brightened by a clear blue sky. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting my hair, a mix of excitement and nerves coursing through me. As I donned my dress, a soft flowing gown that perfectly captured my essence, I couldn't help but smile. This was it. The day I would pledge my life to the woman I loved. Outside, the venue was transformed into a magical forest of flowers, twinkling lights hanging from trees creating an enchanting atmosphere. Friends and family gathered, their eager laughter ringing through the air like sweet music. I glanced over at Lila, who was speaking with her mom, her smile radiant and contagious. My heart skipped a beat at just the sight of her, breathtakingly beautiful. As the ceremony unfolded, I couldn't take my eyes off her. When it was finally time to share our vows, I felt a rush of anticipation. Lila, I began, my voice steady despite the whirlwind of emotions. From the moment I met you, my world shifted. You taught me to believe in love again, to embrace life fully, and to become the best version of myself. I promise to stand by your side in every moment, joyful and challenging, picking you up when you falter and celebrating you when you shine. You are my home, my adventure, and my forever. As I finished, I saw tears glistening in Lila's eyes, reflecting the love that overflowed in her heart. Then it was her turn. Grace, she started, her voice warm and inviting yet strong. You have been my rock and my safe haven. Our journey has taught me resilience, and I promise to uplift you just as you have for me. I will love you,